my favorite show was Bewitched. Hi there, it's Boss Lady. So I have another speed build for you today. Maybe you saw a few weeks ago, I did a speed build of the I Dream of Jeannie house, the television series. I called it a TVLand series. I'm still working on my TVLand series. I've done a few more builds, and I'm ready to share one with you today. Now, as much as I liked watching I Dream of Jeannie when I was a little girl, it wasn't my favorite show. My favorite show was Bewitched. And now I'm sure you've heard of Bewitched. The TV show Bewitched started in 1964. Now, I wasn't around then to watch it. I watched it later as a child growing up, but I really, really loved that show. It was my favorite, and it's still, believe it or not, one of my favorite television shows of all time. So this doesn't exactly look like it did on the TV show. I wanted it to be playable in The Sims, so I did my best to kind of find that balance to make it look like the TV show, but also work in The Sims. Let's take a look. Now here you can see I'm in Glimmerbrook, starting the build, and I'm on the Brooks Bridge Borough lot. It's not the empty lot in Glimmerbrook. It is the one with the smallest house. I bulldozed that house. It's an empty house. No one lives there when you start the game. And I started building there. But I quickly realized that this lot is too small for this house. The house wasn't, even in the TV show, supposed to be really big. It's like a 3 or 4 bedroom house, 2 stories. So really it's not small. It was supposed to be like the typical suburban home. Much of the TV show happens in the house, especially the living room. You see the downstairs a lot. The upstairs you see some of the bedrooms, but not much. And the upstairs of what I built here looks the least like the show. I was really trying to get that living room area and the dining room, you know, to look the best. And maybe the front a little bit. It does if you don't look too closely at the roof. So as you can tell, I just started off with some boxes, and I was trying to get some sizing. So I wanted to put in some doors and windows, the ones that you can see from the road, the ones that are very iconic, I guess, to the TV show. I wasn't really looking exactly for the specific doors or windows that I was going to use, but I was trying to get a little bit of an idea. I was trying to get an idea of the size. And I think I tried every window in the game, every white window anyway. But as you can see, this is pretty big. I had the most trouble with the roof and the second floor. It's just something that you can't really do in Sims. And I didn't want to use platforms. The house has a garage, and it is up off the ground on a foundation, but not really high. So I wasn't too worried about the foundation. I wasn't going to raise it up a lot, but kind of cover up some stuff a little bit with landscaping. And so what if the fake garage door didn't exactly go all the way to the driveway, because driveways and garages in The Sims are fake anyway. Now, I know this roof looks kind of goofy, and well, I'll make it look a little better, but yeah, it kind of stays looking sort of goofy. The house has like 3 dormers, and you can't really do that in The Sims. I messed with the roof a lot. That piece is way too tall and pointy. It's not supposed to look like that, but I'll worry about that later. So that was the only brick portion, was that kind of bump out there in the front, and all the rest is typical siding. It had that trim around the top of the garage. I kind of worked on trying out some different fences for that trim, but I couldn't get the exact thing that I needed. But I think I did okay in the end. This is when I started to realize this isn't going to be big enough. There's nowhere to put a backyard. The backyard was pretty important in the TV show. they showed a lot back there. The kids went out and played, and Samantha went out and did stuff, to the yard. And sometimes she would talk to her mom out there or one of the neighbors or something. And so you see the backyard a lot, and it was decorated, and there's no room for a backyard on this lot. So I realized I was going to have to move it. I moved it to the biggest lot in Glimmerbrook. I just moved that family out. I think it's the Charm family lives there, and I just moved them out and bulldozed. Now I'm starting to work on the interior a little bit, trying to get some colors, check my layout. I'm kind of jumping from the first floor to the second floor, and I realized I had the house too big. The living room in the house is really, really big on the TV show because a lot of strange things happen. They drive cars in there and all kind of wild stuff. So it had to be pretty big for the set. So I knew it was going to be pretty big, but I had it a little too big. So I shrunk the house a little bit. Upstairs, I didn't really know what the colors needed to be, so I just decided to kind of make them bright and fun. And I spent a lot of time on the kitchen. 1960s, 1970s kitchens were colorful, to say the least. In the 1950s, saw a lot of pastel, which I really liked. And then the 1960s and kind of in between the 50s and the 70s. In the 70s, you had all of this avocado green, harvest gold, and burnt orange. And we don't really have those colors in The Sims. We do have some orange and some yellow. It's not really the harvest gold. We don't really have the avocado green, not in appliances. So I was kind of playing around with some different colors, trying to figure out what I wanted to use. And if you look at pictures of the set, you'll see that it changed over the years. The television show ran until 1972, so it was almost 10 years. And during that time, they updated the house. They changed the furniture, they changed some of the paint colors, some of the wallpapers. And so I was trying to find just a mix of, or a balance of what we had in The Sims compared to what the house looked like some of the time in some of the seasons. I did my best. And like I said, it's a Sims version of the Bewitched house. Now, I also made the family. If you're interested in downloading them, they're available on the gallery. I made Samantha and her husband, Darren. Their two children, Tabitha, I think I made a child or a toddler, and then Adam, their son, I made an infant, I believe. And then, of course, I made Samantha's mother, Endora. She's a big, big part of the show. And I know lots of other people have made them and built the house. But I wanted to give it a try because, like I said, this is one of my all-time favorite television shows. I have all of the seasons, all of the episodes on DVD. So it's been a while since I watched them, but maybe I'll go watch them again now that I've done the house. I think it turns out pretty good, personally. So I did a little bit of the landscaping, as you saw, and now I'm kind of going into that backyard. I'm working on the placement of the fence. The backyard, like I said, was pretty unique. They had a gazebo back there. They had kind of a raised platform thing, so you see me kind of building a room. They had that covered area with some trellis work. They had a wall, a brick wall. And so I tried to recreate most all of it. I like the backyard. It would have been a wonderful place to have your children play. Because that's up on a platform, it was kind of giving me a little bit of trouble. Kept moving it around, making them different sizes. Really needed it to fit in and have some space behind the platform for the gazebo, a tree, and a swing set, and still not run into the fence. I didn't want to move to a bigger lot. I had already done that once, and I didn't want to do it again. So this lot now is Rock Ridge Canyon, as you can tell. Working on that roof again, putting some closets and things upstairs. The layout upstairs, like I said, is not really like it is on the TV show. I mean, it's kind of, sort of, but not exactly. I tried to put the rooms where they are, but with 4 bedrooms, I really probably should have done it with 3. But I wanted Tabitha to have a separate room. They show her room quite a bit on the TV show. She's the oldest child, and her room was pink. And then later on, they have Adam, and so I wanted him to be in a different room and not in her room. So I wanted her to have a pink room, so I gave him a blue room. So you see, I've got the gazebo now, and I'm putting a swing set back there for the kids. I've got that brick wall, as you can see. I'm not sure what the purpose of that was. Maybe to provide some privacy. It was a tree in that planter box. So that really kind of worked out. And then there was another wall, as you can tell, over on the other side, but it had a lot of trellis work and vines and stuff growing on it. And then there was a covered area with some seating. So now I'm looking at some patio seating, trying to get something that matched so that you could put it out there. I don't know that it was really blue, but I kind of like the way that white looks. And that looked pretty appropriate to me, so I went with that set. I think that's even a base game set, patio set. And I wasn't real sure what to do on the other side of that wall, so I kind of played around with that a little bit. And it was kind of an empty space, so I put a treehouse from the Growing Together pack. I mean, if you're really going to play here and you're going to have a couple of kids, why not? Now, over by the brick wall, there was a lot of gardening supplies. Sometimes you would see Samantha go out there and kind of work, in the garden, or she would have gardening gloves and they would show her coming back in from outside or something. So it kind of gave the impression that, she was gardening and things like that. So I tried to kind of decorate it a little bit so it didn't look just like a plain brick wall, but I wasn't really sure what I wanted to use. Some of it I thought looked silly. So I kind of did my best. Left it a little bit blank. Still looking for furniture. They had quite a bit of furniture out there. There were a couple of different seating areas. They did have a seating area in the gazebo and would sometimes show people in there. But I made this gazebo pretty small, so I don't think it's really going to be that useful. It might just be kind of for looks. But I think it looks pretty cute. I mean, you could have your son go sit out there, I suppose. Now I kind of jumped back inside and I cut out some of the decorating. This speed build, I had about 8 hours, I think, of footage. It took me about 8 hours to build. About 3 or 4 days I worked on this because I didn't just sit down and do it all at once. I'm not a fast builder. And I tried, I think, every floor color and every wall color in the game, in every room. I couldn't make up my mind. The downstairs was easier, like I said, and looks a little bit more like the house. So I'm actually showing you a little bit more of the downstairs. Now that area where the fireplace is really interesting because it's an entire wall lifted up, kind of on a platform with the fireplace in the center and shelves on the sides. I used those bookshelves. I would want to go back and change it to some book nook shelves now. I think I may have built this before the book nook kit came out. I'm not sure, but I ended up using Growing Together shelves, and I don't know that they really look that good. And you can't put your own stuff on them, so it's only books. But the platform kind of messed things up too, so that could be why. This is Darren's office. They called it a den. It was downstairs. So the house had a large kitchen with enough room for a table in it. You can see a little bit of it there, kind of up by that laundry area. And then they had a formal dining room, kind of an open concept, which is amazing for the 60s, kind of open concept dining room, living room area. And then they had his den, which was really an office. He was an advertising executive, and so sometimes he would work on some advertising kind of layouts at home. If he had a big client or a big presentation coming up, he might work a little bit on the weekends or something. And there, that's the master, the primary bedroom. It wasn't really that green color, but I kind of tried to make it kind of match and look a little bit 70s. And now I'll jump into the game and take a look at the final build. And of course, they got Adam on the ground. Isn't that lovely? All right, so here's the exterior of the house. And even though this is kind of pointy, I think I did a pretty good job. I think it looks really good here in Glimmerbrook. All right, so you come in their front door and they've got this lovely foyer area here with a nice mirror. Sometimes they had paintings there and they would talk to you and stuff like that. It was really kind of cute. They had this TV, and I don't think this TV works. So I put this one on top of it. And believe it or not, people actually did that back then. If your big, huge console, they called them a console TV, they were like a big, giant table or piece of furniture. If they died, sometimes you would go get a smaller TV with little rabbit ears and set it on top. Because these were so hard to move and very expensive to get repaired. So here's their, oh, I'm not even good at this. And maybe it's because I'm not in tab mode. Yeah, here we go. Here's their living room. You can see that platform space over there with the books on top of it. It's really kind of odd, but that's the way it was in the show. And they have those 3 beautiful doors back there going out. I think they were French doors, but I don't think they had all those divided lights in them. You could see the staircase just like that, which was always amazing because you could see the people going up and down. And then over here is their dining room. And you can see right here, I put a bar backwards. I don't know if they can use this bar, but they had a little table here and it was set up like a bar. And so whenever Darren might come home from work, if he had a hard day or if his boss came over to see him, they would always go and, get a drink, get an adult beverage, and they would go do it over there. So I thought I'd actually put a bar because maybe your Sims could go and do their mixology there and actually get a drink. But with it being backwards, I'm not sure. Let's go into the kitchen and I'll give you a look at this kitchen. So this kitchen is very orange and blue. And I thought that looked best and kind of brought out the orange from the TV show. If you go back and look, there is a lot of orange and blue. It's really a little more orange and green, but we didn't really have that in The Sims, but we have the orange. So I thought that it still looked 70s doing it this way. Now, her stove was not at all like that. See how I've put that pizza oven from the Home Chef Hustle kit right next to the stove? That's because her stove was big and it had this like built-in oven thing to it with this big thing that lifted up. It was really incredible. I wish they still made appliances like that. And then here's the back door, and that door goes into the den and also back around to the foyer. And this is Darren's den or office. There's his desk over here. And I acted like maybe the kids are drawing some neat little pictures for him. And there's a bathroom in there for him. So let me get out of tab mode. And I want to show you the backyard. You saw it pretty much when I was building in the speed build. but I'll show you again here. There's the trellis stuff back there. I took away some of the stuff that I put because I was having a little bit of a hard time, and I thought maybe some people might not be able to download it if I used too many packs. So I've got a little bit of gardening stuff over here, and I took the treehouse away, but it fits here perfectly. And if I play with this lot, or when I play with this lot, I plan on putting it back. Now the cars are, of course, fake. Now, if you look upstairs, you can see they've got this nice little hallway. They've got the pink bedroom and the blue bedroom set up for the children. And there's this bathroom in the hallway. And this is a spare or guest bedroom. Samantha often had members of her family that would come and stay, particularly her aunt would come and stay quite a bit and help her take care of the children. And that's where she would stay. And then this is the main or primary bedroom. And then their bathroom. They have an ensuite, so they have their own bathroom. And the dormers are, of course, in Tabitha's room. And even though it looks a little strange, I think I did okay with the roof in the end. What do you think? I hope you like it. Thank you for watching. I hope you liked it. If you did, please click that thumbs up and don't forget to subscribe. And I'll see you again soon with another TVLand series build. I'll see you next time.